Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, the Davis administration nears 100 days in office, how the DPM says they did. Carnival operators hoping to open this week, and Miss Bahamas Universe Chantel O'Brien's glorious homecoming. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, the long-awaited announcement on the future of the Grand Lucayan Resort will be made as early as Monday, according to Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper. It comes as he tells Our News he feels the Davis administration has done a good job so far as it nears 100 days in office. Kyle Joaquin has the story.
We made a decision as to what we want to do.
When can we get that decision?
As early as Monday.
Come Monday, the country may know which direction the Davis administration will head in with regards to the Grand Lucayan deal, one that Cooper has called egregiously bad. Since being elected back in September, there have been questions over whether the Davis government will move forward with it, even after millions upon millions have been spent on the project since the Minnis administration purchased the resort in 2018. Cooper said those questions will finally be put to rest early next week. But that's just one part of what the Davis administration has done so far as it nears its first 100 days in office next week. Cooper says so far, they've done a good job.
I am satisfied with the growth in the economy, the significant rebound in tourism. We reduced VAT, as we promised to the Bahamian people. We eliminated the Bahamas travel health visa for Bahamians coming into their own country. We were delivering on our promise. There's yet more to do. We understand there's a long way to go. But we have a blueprint and we have an economic plan. And every day we continue to chip at it.
And Cooper says following the party's blueprint for change has kept them on the right track, fulfilling promises made in its bid for election.
When I travel the length and breadth of the Bahamas, it feels like a new day. There is a level of hopefulness. There is a spirit of hope and restoration that we're feeling from Ragged Island straight on to Grand Bahama.
But he says this is no pat on the back, as he knows there are many still hurting. He said, frankly, there is more work to do.
So we understand that there's still an incredible level of hurt and frustration and suffering in our country. And we are, before we say that, the mission has been achieved, we want to ensure that we provide as much as we can, as quickly as we can, and we've done some of that already.
The PLP was voted in office by a huge margin on September 16th, leaving the F&M with only 7 seats in Parliament. It was a clear message, Cooper said the country sent, and a task the Davis administration has taken on with the aim of doing good by the people, whom he says will be the judge at the end of the day.
Without question. But, this is all a question that you ought to put to the Bahamian people. We will not be satisfied, to use an old mantra, until we have wiped every tear from every eye.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, amid controversy over their rejected application, Carnival operators are hoping to open this week. Bethany McDermott reports.
As Carnival operators await the Ministry of Health's decision on their second application, the operator told Our News he's hoping to open this week, if not by tonight. The committee tasked with making the decision is expected to give an answer today. In the meantime, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell dismissed the F&M's call for transparency.
They're sort of desperately flailing around trying to find an issue. As if there's some conspiracy involved in this. I think people ought to use their rational minds before jumping to conspiracy theories.
On Wednesday, F&M Senator Maxine Seymour tabled a letter in the Senate from the Ministry of Finance, which shows permission was granted to the Progressive Liberal Party to import equipment for the Christmas Carnival. Well, Mitchell hit back Wednesday morning and released a similar letter dated October 16, 2018, and addressed to F&M National Party's Treasurer Dwight Sawyer. Both letters were signed by Financial Secretary Whitney Kenny and copied the Controller of Customs.
The only point I was making is you're jumping up and down about this so-called letter from Customs. And it turns out, as I said, this is the normal practice for the party in power to be the beneficiary of the carnival. Everybody's known this. This has been the case since way back when Before Ingram came to office, it switched from the PLP to the FNM. When Ingram lost office to the PLP, then back to the FNM. So this is a nothing burger.
It remains unclear who gave permission for the operators to bring in the equipment, which is currently set up at Fort Charlotte. FNM leader Michael Pintard suggested the government err on the side of caution, but Mitchell said he believes the FNM is still stunned by its election defeat.
So they're just thrashing around trying to find an issue. And they've been trying to stick this negative on the PLP throughout all their campaigns, and it hasn't stopped. And one of the reasons I've responded in the way I've had is to simply say to people that notwithstanding their defeat, these people are unrepentant.
Now, while he refrained from giving his personal views on if the Christmas Carnival should be allowed to operate, he did reiterate the PLP's position to do whatever is necessary to boost the economy.
If this country's economy is choked off, all of us will have to turn in the keys and fly off to the States to live. That ain't going to happen under the PLP's watch.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, following her history-making performance at the Miss Universe pageant on Sunday, Miss Bahamas Universe arrived home to a welcome fit for a pageant queen today. From the motorcade that swept her across the island to a ceremony at Fusion, Chantel O'Brien thanked Bahamians for their love and support. Kyle Joaquin has that.
Emotional for the first time since she played.
It was perhaps the first person she wanted to see since her historic feat at Miss Universe. Chantel O'Brien embracing her mother in the VIP lounge of LPIA as they both cried tears of joy, living in the moment she worked so hard for and was 8 years in the making. Top 10 at Miss Universe. The young girl she's mentored for years also there to welcome her.
For the fact that we're not a pageant cultured country, but I think that it's not about pageantry, it's really about, rearing our young girls in the right direction and then being able to be confident in who they are.
Wife of the Prime Minister Anne-Marie Davis was one of several who showed up for the grand return, including several cabinet ministers. From the lounge, it was outdoors to her very own Junkanoo rush out and a motorcade that took her through the city center and the island. Her day would end at Fusion Superplex, where she was showered with gifts. From a painting by the celebrity artist to free stays at Atlantis, Baha Mar, Breezes, and the Courtyard at Marriott, and also cold hard cash. Miss Bahamas felt the love.
Our commitment is to ensure that pageantry in the Bahamas stays at a level and continues to soar. This will happen through regulation and good policies, beginning with the formation of a National Council of Pageantry.
Throughout her Miss Universe journey, Chantel never shied away from her story of being homeless for a period as she chased this dream. But her transparency was admired. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper said come Monday, Chantel begins her new job at the Ministry of Tourism.
You show us the difficult roads often lead to incredible destinations, and that dreams are as valid as the work you're willing to put in to make them real.
It was an outpouring of love that Chantel says left her holding back tears, as this has been a dream that started way back in 2013 when she first entered Miss Bahamas.
We did that and we can do more, and although I might have been the first, I'm certainly not the last. There's only up to go from here. We will bring that Miss Universe title back here to the Bahamas. It's really only a matter of time.
O'Brien also using the opportunity to address online discussions surrounding her heritage, a Bahamian of Haitian descent.
And so, as someone of Haitian heritage, do not get caught up. It is all about what we want to do for our country. It's not about what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country? And I stand here proud to say that I held the Bahamas on my chest not once, but twice on 2 great global stages.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
In other news, while noting the Bahamas should be commended for its attempts to increase access to COVID-19 vaccines, a top PAHO official says increasing the country's vaccination rate should trump booster shots. Jasmine Brown explains.
Those PAHO officials revealing just what they think those vaccines should be used for, as they made it clear boosters may not be the best decision. Pan American Health Organization Assistant Director Dr. Jarvis Barbosa weighed in on the Bahamas' recent rollout of COVID booster shots during PAHO's weekly press conference.
Much more important to use these doses to increase the coverage.
COVID-19 booster shots were made available for all Bahamians and residents who are 18 years and older on Monday. The expansion of the booster shot program to all adults came less than a week after Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Michael Darville announced the first phase of the program, which focused on immunocompromised groups. It is unclear why the ministry decided to expand the program a few days after launching the first phase. Barbosa says at this time concentration should be placed on the most vulnerable.
It's very important to increase the coverage in the population and to make the third dose for that group that the WHO and PAHO are recommending. People that receive Sinovac or Sinopharm vaccine and they are at 60 or older, and for any vaccine, people that are immunocompromised.
The Bahamas vaccination campaign has been ongoing since March. More than 300,000 doses of 3 vaccines, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and Pfizer, have already been secured. As of Saturday, 151,183 people have been fully vaccinated in country. An additional 147,433 people have received 1 dose of a vaccine. The government is aiming to have 200,000 people fully vaccinated by the end of the year.
I think that's very important to recognize the effort that the Bahamas and many other countries are making to increase the access of their population to vaccines. The Bahamas is moving forward very fast. It's now around 36% of their population fully vaccinated.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. A few morning showers in the capital today. Greg Thompson has the latest from the Weather Center.
Thanks, Christine, and a happy hump day, everybody. Outside our studios right now, breezy but mild conditions, temperatures in the mid-70s, 77 with just a few light showers on that breeze, very windy easterly winds at 13 miles per hour, and your field slight temperature, very comfortable, 75 degrees. Satellite view, we have an upper level disturbance moving across the northwest Bahamas, generating some showers and some isolated thunderstorms early across that area. But that stiff easterly breeze is bringing in some Atlantic moisture, and we are looking at a few more showers later tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come, a popular group goes another year without Junkanoo, and the DPM brushes off Minis's health visa criticism. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
For the second year in a row, there will be no Junkanoo on Boxing Day and New Year's morning. And for Barabbas and the Tribe, it's especially tough as the group won't be featured in any virtual parades.
We lost in a sense, but you know, it'd be itching to get back to the street.
Barabbas and the Tribe may have to wait a little longer before hitting the street, as leader Quentin Barabbas Woodside says the group will not appear on any of the virtual Junkanoo lineups.
We spent a lot of money preparing because, like I say, we didn't have any costumes in the past, and we just signed up as a B group, as a new, coming back to the street, and we went through the channels. They say we was a part of it, and then a week or 2 later, or 2 weeks later, we got an email saying they didn't have sufficient funds.
Woodside says he's working to get to the bottom of it, but in the meantime, he will not let the children be disappointed.
I went and bought materials and had the little children did their own costume, decorate their own costume, and they come and we practice and everything. And when they hear we're not participating, they feel the spirit dumping. You're going to see a 2-year-old blowing, that's a 3-year-old, I think, 3-year-old blowing a conch shell. You can imagine that?
From the youngest to the more experienced. Woodside says his group will be rushing at Junkanoo World on Horseshoe Drive on Thursdays and Mondays leading up to Christmas to keep the spirit of Junkanoo alive.
If we only have one drummer, one beller, 7 o'clock sharp. The reason for that, I learned that from the late Mr. Gus Cooper. If you procrastinate, Junkanoo will stay in the shack till next year, this time. So we were losing a lot of great guys. We were losing our culture. And the taste for pasting and so forth, since we got Carnival, the taste for the craft, we were losing that.
Youth Sports and Culture Minister Mario Boleg recently revealed that $130,000 has been budgeted for virtual Junkanoo competitions on the Family Islands, and $25,000 has been set aside for activities on Majority Rule Day in January. Meanwhile, Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper brushing off former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis's claim that the government's decision to scrap the travel health visa for Bahamians and residents returning to the Bahamas is a grave mistake.
I think the former Prime Minister should enjoy his retirement, quite frankly.
As of Monday, Bahamians and residents no longer needed travel health visas to re-enter the Bahamas. However, negative COVID-19 test results are still required.
We are making decisions that are in the best interest of the Bahamian people. We promised the Bahamian people that we would remove the travel visa. Bahamian people, our constituents, indicated to us that it was a nuisance. We are comfortable that the Ministry of Health is putting in place and have done a significant amount already.
When our news returns, a major boost for BTVI's media program, and NBA star DeAndre Ayton is in fine form. The details when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is our news. Welcome back. Family Guardian has partnered with the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute by providing a $10,000 donation and internship opportunities. Family Guardian President Glenn Ritchie says the internships will allow students to gain valuable work experience.
HER company, staff, and agents commit to spend one day to positively and meaningfully touch those organizations on a personal level. For us, this donation today is no different and represents an investment in the future of these students, which speaks to the heart of Family Guardian's corporate giving strategy.
The donation will be used to purchase video, audio, and television equipment necessary for BTVI's media program. A production studio is expected to be launched on its campus in summer 2022.
This in particular is a shining example of your organization's commitment to education, and we hope it inspires other organizations and individuals to also render assistance to BTVI. You're investing in bright futures. You are providing students with affordable excellence and the opportunity to learn a trade and earn a living.
And we've been assured by your able team here that they will have meaningful experiences, and we take it very seriously to ensure that they are tools to not only meet your expectations, but to exceed them. So on behalf of those of us that instruct and are in the classroom with our students, we wish to really just say thank you.
DeAndre Ayton returns to action with a bang. Meanwhile, boxing making its return early next year. Marcellus Hall has the details tonight in sports.
All right, thanks, and welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. It has been a while since DeAndre Ayton stepped on the court, at least one game anyway, due to a non-COVID related illness. It's funny how you say that these days. Anyway, back in action last night against the Portland Trailblazers. Turned out his return was just in time. Well, after sitting out a game due to a non-COVID related illness, Bahamian DeAndre Ayton returning to the lineup for the Phoenix Suns as they travel to Portland to face the Trailblazers. Ayton, boy, coming back with a blast as he led the way, 28 points, 13 rebounds, just to name some of the stats he had on the evening. And most importantly, Phoenix getting the big win here, 111-107 in overtime. They improved to 22-5, second in the Western Conference behind only the Golden State Warriors. Portland, they fall to 11-17. Their tough season continues. They're 11th in the West. As for the Suns, they travel now to another game on Thursday when they will host the Washington Wizards. DeAndre hoping to continue his great play after, again, coming back from that brief illness. Taking a look now at some boxing news. Boxing fans may want to mark this on your calendar. You got some time, as on January 22nd, the Blast from the Past final chapter boxing card will take place. It's going to be at the Convention Center over at Baha Mar, featuring Misha Major as he takes on Marlon Anderson in the main event. Also some pretty good fights on that undercard. We'll give you more details on that as the event draws nearer. But again, for boxing fans, it is something to put on your calendar coming up on January 22nd of 2022. All right, and that's your look at sports here on this Wednesday. Would we be remiss, however, we did not mention that Steph Curry last night breaking the all-time three-point record held by Ray Allen. Did it in New York City last night, Madison Square Garden. Big accomplishment. Congratulations to him and, of course, the Golden State Warriors. That's your check on sports. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Up next, a look ahead at weekend weather. Stay tuned.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back to our news. Partly sunny skies ahead. Greg is back in the Weather Center.
Thanks again, Christina, and welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. Big ridge of high pressure off the eastern United States, generating our weather for us for today. Some isolated showers and thunderstorms, upper level trough across the northwest Bahamas, supporting that activity. But that stiff easterly breeze bringing in some Atlantic moisture across the area, and that will continue to dominate our weather over the next couple of days. So very hazardous beaching and boating conditions expected through the balance of the week. Those winds will remain up into the advisory levels until at least Friday before things start to fall off. But that high will slide out, eventually paving the way for another frontal boundary to get near sometime early next week. And then, of course, we expect those winds to be picking up once again starting next weekend into the end of next weekend. For the boating forecast, your winds will be out of the northeast to east at 15 to 25 knots. They will be gusting high at times, so an advisory is posted. We're asking you boaters, if you really don't have to be out there on the waters, to remain in or near port. Very rough seas at 5 to 8 feet. They will be higher in gusts. Low tide will be at 11:25 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look at your extended forecast through Wednesday. Very breezy conditions continuing for the next couple of days. Make it a great one. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. Stay tuned. The exciting celebrity edition of Rev's Mega Grocery Dash is up next. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.